Hi, my name's Gary Nash, and along with our firm of Gary Nash & Co, real estate agents of Wangaratta, we've been given the privilege to market this outstanding rural property situated at Glenrowan, known as Millers Hill. Millers Hill contains some 184 hectares, or in the old imperial, something like 456 acres. It has 4 titles and an outstanding array of assets. We thought it was important also due to the pandemic that has gripped our globe and also having an impact on our nation, just give you the opportunity, the buyer, to inspect this property via video. Our video, we would anticipate, may take about 20 minutes, but let's start first with an inspection of the main residence, and I'll introduce you to our owners, Mark and Kristen Stebanecki, who have been the owners of this particular property for some 30 plus years. So follow me through and we will start our inspection.
Well, we bought the initial home paddock in 1990. The obvious thing that stood out was the view. We knew that we could never be built out, and this sensational view of northeast Victoria, really going from Albury all the way through to Mount Buller, grabbed our attention. So we built this place in 2006 with the idea of encapsulating the view and the position and the farm. And we've progressively extended our farm acreage and absolutely love it here. We get beautiful winter days, storms, change in scenery constantly. So the idea was to build the home with natural materials, a lot of glass. We have Glenrowan granite that we have used from our property here, as well as the quarry, local quarry. That was constructed artistically by Frank Vickers, wonderful local stonemason. Local sourced glass, which has all the environmental properties of double glazing, tinting, argon gas between the 2 extra large gaps, and galvanised iron roof. We wanted the home to blend into the balance of the hill over time, and I think we're starting to achieve that.
And the layout was based on having a large central area for the family and for friends to come, and then have a parents' end of the house. And the children's end of the house. And so as a family home, it's been fantastic to live in and been very enjoyable.
So the kitchen, we have 2 forms of cooking. One of them is a combustion stove that we sourced. It's an Irish brand, Stanley, and it is dual purpose. It not only cooks, but it heats our water throughout the winter time. We have alternative electric hot water as well, and it also provides heating through our hydronic heating system, which is a beautiful heat. It's ducted through both ends of the house, and obviously, you know, having your slow cooking simmering away on the top is beautiful, as well as the standard oven component. And then in the summertime, I've got summer cooking options. I've got a Miele oven and a European gas hot plate, and that works perfectly. So between them both, we've got all forms of cooking covered. We also used granite bench tops. I wanted to try and keep a theme of natural products. So there's the granite bench tops, stone floors and timber floorboards. Plenty of storage, ample storage, more than what I can use. And dishwasher, it's just perfect to be standing here, looking out, cooking, entertaining. It's absolutely fabulous.
And Kristen, the control centre here for the...
Yes, it's a Clipsal control centre, C-Bus. So we have all the areas of the home zoned. We have our kitchen where we can alter all the lights, put them all on. There's mood lighting, so we can drag it down to dimming. We can control all our pool from here, the lights that we have on out there, the pumps, the cleaning, the gate, which is very important. We can control from here, closing and opening, We have lights that we can put on. The separate guest house or extra family accommodation, everything can be done from here. So it's a one-stop shop and it works very, very well. We can see exactly what's going on and don't need to be going outside to turn lights on, shut garage doors or anything along those lines. So it works very, very well.
Turned it on for us today, Mark, for the weather.
Beautiful day. And so the boundaries, the southern end is Laceby Glenrowan Road, goes down to the treated water, Glenrowan treated water dam, which is not part of the property, then continues along Greens Road to houses in the northern end, and then zigzags back up onto the freeway.
And I see, Mark, that there's a pretty extensive laneway system that goes from the bottom end of the property through to the top end of the property.
That's right.
Let us know what your thoughts.
Yep. So we initially had the first 100 acres here, which the house was built on, and then acquired more land. When that occurred, we instituted a farm plan, and we initially replaced the old cattle yards, which were basically wooden structures held together by fencing wire, with a brand new purpose-built yard and a backset ramp, so it complied with council regulations. Then we ran a wide laneway from the southern end of the property right through to the northern end, and over time we've then made smaller paddocks on both sides of the laneway, because initially the combined property had approximately 5 large paddocks, which we found difficult to move cattle around and to maintain, and so we went to a smaller paddock size, which has allowed us much more flexibility.
You know, I see from up here, we see that there's very large water tanks in areas and in the corridors. I guess they're feeding the stock troughs.
That's correct. We had, once we divided off the paddocks, and with that we had tree belts between paddocks, which often incorporated the original dams to keep the stock out of the dams. We had to devise a system whereby we could get water into the multiple new smaller paddocks, and this was done by having situated tanks of up to 130,000 litres, which would then feed out to troughs to the smaller paddocks, and these tanks filled either by gravity feed or can be filled with a pump, and the majority of the water that comes for the tanks that's not rainwater comes from 2 spring-fed dams on the further side of the paddock.
With the numbers of stock that you're running on the property, does it vary throughout the year? Or,
we tend to we've sort of been very comfortable running up to 120 head, and with the variation in the land and the slope from the west side down to the 15 Mile Creek on the east side, we do have varying conditions of pasture growing, which some do well in the summer and some do well in the winter, and we've found by moving them around that we haven't had any problem coping with that amount of head and being able to maintain the feed for them so they're still growing, and with minimal supplementary feed.
Well, we've set the farm up in such a way that I can actually manage it by myself. I can get the cattle into the laneways and then walk them directly into the cattle yards. So for an individual person, it's no difficulty at all. It works well for me, and the numbers that Mark spoke about are absolutely true. We do work strongly with our stock and station agent, a local chap. He comes out and he guides me and advises perhaps what we should be doing over, you know, a certain period of time, and it's a very good relationship that we have. So the farm works perfectly. There's never any issues with one paddock and another, and I can do it without any problems at all. So,
Credit to you with the corridor system that is in there, with stock health.
Yes.
You've found that has helped.
Oh, absolutely. It and the sizing of the paddock has helped as well. You know, we've tried to create some bigger than smaller, so that if you do have unwell stock, the accessibility is there for veterinary purposes, just for our own monitoring, and certainly throughout the 4 seasons. You know, some paddocks will do better than the other, and we've got that choice. We've got that availability and that flexibility of being able to move some cows and calves and steers. Fattening up, they seem to fatten up extremely quickly and extremely well. So yes, I think that all in all, they're not a stressed animal. It's not a stressful farm. It just seems to work exceptionally well for us.
So let's go down and have a closer look at the pastures and the design of the farm plan. But before we go off this magnificent balcony, obviously there'd be a huge attraction of bird life and
there is,
everything that
absolutely.
comes through.
Yes, we and in fact the bird numbers have increased and the species have increased.
Right.
We have the turquoise parrot living here, which
Yes.
is
The
an endangered,
species,
absolutely,
yeah.
and there's no doubt that the plantings and the protection have helped with that. King parrots, rosellas, beautiful eagles. It's really a myriad of wildlife,
Yes.
and we're very, very lucky.
And this area is sort of a designated area for the turquoise
It
parrot
is.
because there's corridors of plantings to encourage them to. It's in their flight path,
Absolutely.
as I understand. Yes.
You're
yeah.
absolutely right, and
Right.
they're coming further south now,
Yes.
and I think that this has really enhanced their habitat. So
yes.
we're very privileged to be able to see what goes on here
Yes.
with all of that. So.
And overall here too, we're in a like an amphitheatre with the we've got the hill protecting us from any sort of noises from a busy freeway, which is just one of Australia's most busiest freeways. We've got extensive frontage to that, as you'll see in the information, and well, there's panorama too that takes in everything from where Buller to
Well, you can see the lights of Albury up
Yes.
through there.
right.
We've got Buller, we've got Mount Bogong, Feathertop, Mount Buffalo, the Black Range, Emu Range, Mount Cobbler through there. It's absolutely spectacular. And in the wintertime, when you have those frosty, clear days, the
Oh, yes.
snow-capped mountains are absolutely superb. So, you know, it's a very private location.
Yes.
Nobody can see us. We're very well protected. And that's the way we like it. We like that
And
solitude.
coming back into these winter months where you've got up here, you'd be frost free basically.
Indeed,
wouldn't you?
indeed
So
we are.
You'd
yes.
actually look out and that's like a white sea out
Absolutely,
there.
and the
Yes.
fog, we're often
Yes.
just sitting on top of the
the
fog.
clouds,
yes,
yeah.
it's absolutely extraordinary. So, look, we feel very lucky that we have something like this.
Oh,
and,
it's certainly
it's superb.
arguably one of the best in Victoria, certainly northeast Victoria. All right, well let's go and have a really close look at the farm, and maybe we'll check on the water system as we go down, and we'll go from there. So Mark, one of the successful things with any rural property is a water supply, and here at Millers Hill I think we've got an exceptional water supply, and we're on top of the hill here, and I'd just like you to perhaps explain to our buyers what we've got organised and also the fire protection systems that we've got in place here at Millers Hill.
So we've progressively enlarged to 4 main storage tanks with a total storage of about 450,000 litres. We have 2 separate water systems to the house, one for internal supply, which is for cooking, drinking, shower and bath, and that's this first tank.
Is that rainwater or?
And it's purely filled with
Oh,
rainwater.
Wow. That's all rainwater.
And that from the gal roof below.
Yes.
Then the following 3 tanks, all tanks are interlinked with each other, but the following 3 tanks are either a combination of rainwater or water from the Glenrowan water supply, which can be pumped from below up to here and top up the tanks if need be. This tank in particular is our fire reserve tank, and we try and keep this filled as much as possible for the summer season. And that is what we use to.
And how many litres are we talking here?
It's 120,000 litres.
120,000 litres.
And
right.
and that's used purely to run the external taps, which will have fire hoses over summer, and also the fire sprinkler system.
And with this up here around the main home, you've got a ring main that goes around and sprinklers up on the roofs, etc.
Correct.
Yes.
So we one of our criteria for the plumbing was that we had to have mains water pressure at all times, rather than having gravity feed, and also we needed to have enough pressure to be able to power all the sprinklers and external hoses in case there was a bushfire that came through to the area.
Yes, very, very great insurance. And these 2 tanks here have got the external, as far as in Victoria is concerned, CFA connection. So if there was any disaster, tankers could link up with these or plug in basically to these tanks and fill their tankers from there.
And the whole driveway and everything's been designed so they can come in easily, hook into it, get a refill, and then go and fight the fire if they have to.
And I noticed you've even gone to the extent of having a open or a good track lane along the freeway there in case anything comes up from that side.
That was at the time of building this site and doing the roads and the driveways. That was one of the criteria to have access right around the hill for trucks to be able to get in.
Yes, being in CFA, I think you've done a marvellous job, and a very, very defendable, easy place to look after. So, and you've got the backup diesel engines. Where's the motors? That's round the corner. Yep.
So again, just going back, we've got 2 pump systems that run, one running the internal water in the house and one the external water and pool, again delivering mains pressure. Inevitably in a bushfire, particularly around this area, power supply can be non-existent. Interrupted. And so although this pump will run the external fire sprinklers on the roof and around the property and the hoses, if there's no power, then the sprinklers aren't of any use. So we've put in a very powerful backup diesel pump, which is very easy to start, electronically started, and that will take over the job of supplying water to the house.
Oh, that's excellent system there too, Mark. And I notice sometimes people put in these systems and then they forget to protect their own pump shed, but I notice you've got the sprinkler system up there to look after this to keep it all operational.
Correct.
So very, very commendable effort, yes.
Good.
Okay, so we'll go down and have a look at the other connections where the supply comes from the
Glenrowan town water supply.
And then we'll move into the onto the property. Okay. Sounds great. Thank you.
Very good.
Mark, can you explain we're at the part with the Glenrowan water supply booster type of thing to give you that pretty much almost a drought-free water supply? Would that be fair?
Correct.
Yes.
So we brought the water over from the Glenrowan water supply to our property where there's a meter.
Yes.
And then from there it connects to this tank.
Yep.
And the Glenrowan water pressure will fill up this tank. And then when we want to pump water up to the top, there's a float mechanism in here. Pump turns on and automatically empties the tank. That fills up again, and then the pump kicks in again to fill up there as much water as you want.
So automatically controlled as well as manually.
Correct. Yep.
So okay. So what sort of pumping equipment? We've got Oh yes, I see you've got the multi-stage Grundfos pump there. That's a good system and installed locally, so if there's any maintenance required, we've got good local tradespeople to back us up.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Andrew, this obviously some of the livestock that Mark's had on the property, Mark and Kristen, and some of the 120 odd head that they run on the property here. And also you can see back behind me here the corridors, the reclaiming, electric fencing there as well, and the understory sort of keeping it all in the pattern. And up through here, that's obviously one of the spring-fed areas. You can see the reclamation of the, I suppose, the vegetation and everything that's being done. So it's all in very good heart.
Yes, the electric fence unit's running right through there, Gary. It keeps things at bay, but you can understand, the cattle are very calm, so it's everything's in really good health.
A very good environment, and we've got the seasonal waterway coming through, so all in good stead. So thank you for your time, buyers. That concludes our video inspection of Millers Hill. As you will see coming up on the screen are our contact details if you wish to pursue the acquisition of this property further. Also, I might offer you the opportunity, if you do make contact with us, and we can link you up with our owners if you have questions if you'd like to talk to them about this outstanding property. So we wish you good health and good luck, and thank you.